Good evening and welcome to St Margaret's. Wonderful to have you with us, and it's wonderful to have the choral scholars of the Thames Philharmonic. The Thames Philharmonic Choir and St Margaret's have kind of had an on-off relationship over the last two years because of everything that's been going on, but they've been regularly rehearsing here for some time. And it is wonderful to have them with us, and they started these choral scholarships a little while ago. But it's a great pleasure, and we look very much forward to hearing these excellent young singers. So I'm going to welcome our scholars and Harry to introduce them.
Thank you very much, everyone. I just want to check everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Is that coming across? Yes, it is now. Brilliant. We've had problems with the microphones before, so I'm now familiar to that. Good. It's very nice to see so many of you this evening. Many familiar faces in the audience. It's lovely to see you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Harry Bradford. I'm the musical director of the Thames Philharmonic Choir, and this evening is a really special and exciting moment in the choir's history, and certainly during my tenure as musical director, as this is inaugural Scholars Recital. At the beginning of this season, we introduced choral scholarships with the choir, which is an opportunity for young singers at the start of their careers to come and join the choir, helping us on Tuesday night rehearsals, joining us for concerts, and in turn they receive a generous stipend and some wonderful performing opportunities, not only solos in our major concerts, but also their own recital, and they're going to do 3 of these across the year, and this is the very, very first one. So we have been working for the past 2 or 3 weeks with the scholars on some solo and ensemble numbers that they're going to perform for you this evening. And I'm going to introduce my great colleague and accompanist for the Thames Philharmonic Choir, James Orford, to tell you a little bit more.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I will echo everything Harry has just said about how wonderful it is to see you in such great numbers, and also what a treat it is to be presenting the first recital with our wonderful new scholars. They have put together a wonderful program of solo repertoire ranging from, we've got some Handel, all the way through some German Romantic, Brahms, some Schubert, all the way through to English Romantic song from the 20th century with some Quilter and some Britten. So there should be a little bit of everything for you tonight. There is one small sadness, actually quite a large sadness, that our tenor choral scholar, Will Hester, sadly came down with a rather bad lurgy yesterday. He's done all the various tests and he is negative for COVID, but he wanted to be extra cautious, and so he is not with us today. But Harry has very generously agreed to step into the breach and will present 3 solo numbers of his own, which is very exciting. All the TPC members who've heard him warbling away every week. What it's really like. There's nothing more to say, really. From me, the scholars will introduce their individual sets one by one. So without any further ado, I will hand over to Emily, our soprano.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming out to support. We're really looking forward to sharing some music with you. I'm going to be singing, my name is Emily Beech, I'm going to be singing, I'm going to start with a piece by Fanny Mendelssohn called Nach Süden. It describes birds migrating to the south for winter. It's about a homecoming. And then I will be singing a piece by Benjamin Britten called Fish in the Unruffled Lakes. So continuing on the theme of nature and the animal kingdom. And then I will be following that with a piece by Debussy called Apparition, which is about a lost love. And then ending with a piece by Stanford called A Soft Day, which is ending as well on the theme of nature and pastoral landscapes. So I really hope you enjoy, and thank you so much.
Fish and Hello, I'm Maya and I'm the alto scholar with TPC. And it's a real pleasure to be here tonight to sing for you and to make some lovely music with the fellow scholars. I'm going to be singing you a piece by Handel to start off with from his opera Alcina. I'll spare you a synopsis of the whole opera, but essentially at this point in the opera, Ruggiero, who was under Alcina's spell, becomes liberated and tells the rest of the inanimate objects around the room, who are in fact men who were also under her spell, that they can look into the powerful stone and they too will be freed. That will be followed by two songs from Brahms' Fünfgesänge. The first one, O kühler Wald, and the second, Verzagen. Both of those are about love getting lost somewhere in nature, it being found either in a forest or by the rolling sea. And finally, I'll be singing Barber's Must the Winter Come So Soon from his opera Vanessa, which essentially is the niece of Vanessa bemoaning the fact that winter is setting in their abandoned house in the forest in which they live. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Now, I really will keep this part of the program as brief as possible before the real singing continues. Yes, so we've come up with a short program in a very short space of time today. And I'm going to be singing Now Sleeps the Crimson Petal by Quilter. And then taking a slightly more remembrance theme, so Bluet by Poulenc, which tells the story of a fallen soldier, the blue hat. And finally, Sleep by Ivor Gurney, who fought in the World War.
Sleeps the crimson petal of the boys.
Thank you very much. So I'm Alex. I'm the bass choral scholar this year. And tonight, the first thing I'll be singing is O du mein holder Abendstern, which is by Richard Wagner, from his opera Tannhäuser. And in this aria, me, Wolfram, is the character's name, playing my harp and sitting, looking at the stars, contemplating my imminent death. Yeah, very cheery. But also the love that I've known in my life and how much that means to me. In the second song, which is called Love Sights by Vaughan Williams, it's from his song cycle, The House of Life, which is not his most well-known cycle, but it's so amazing. If you don't know it, I would really highly recommend listening to it. Again, talking about the different ways I express love to my beloved. And the third one is from Schubert's immense song cycle, Winterreise, which some may know. It's the 13th song called Die Post. And Winterreise, in a sense, is about a young man who is slowly driven mad by sort of long-lost love, really, unrequited love. And in this song, he's rather happy because he sees a post van coming along, and he thinks it might bear some good news for him. So he's feeling particularly happy at that song, but it's not a happy cycle. But
Sie
Thank you very much. That draws to a close the solo portion of the evening. What a treat that was. I mean, for you to listen, for me to accompany such wonderful music and such wonderful singing, a real joy. And now we come to the group part of the evening. So I will be singing this time to give Harry a break. So I will be standing in for Will. And we have prepared for you 5 pieces, some short, some not so short. The first of which is a piece that any TPC members who stuck with us on Zoom during the pandemic will be very familiar. We're going to start with O Quam Gloriosum by Thomas Luis de Victoria, a Spanish composer of the Renaissance. This is an absolute staple piece of repertoire for anyone in the Anglican choral tradition. So TPC, hum along. In your heads, of course, but if I invite all the scholars back out, and we will start with some Victoria. Lovely. I hope that rang some bells, TPC members. We are now going to sing a couple of pieces as a little nod to remembrance coming up this week. So we're going to start with a wonderful hymn-like miniature by Parry called Crossing the Bar, one of the most stunningly amazing texts that's set to music by Parry. Stanford wrote a solo setting of Crossing the Bar. It's a wonderful, wonderful text. And then we'll be following it up with Douglas Guest's For the Fallen, a 1 minute long miniature, which was, I think, written for a remembrance service at Westminster Abbey in 1971. Date could be wrong, but it's one of the most wonderfully introverted, subtle, but expressive pieces for remembrance. So I hope you enjoy them. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now we come to our final two numbers. The first of which, a text which will be very familiar to those of you who sing in churches, Ubi Caritas, but a setting by Ola Yelo, Scandinavian composer, contemporary composer. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece employing lots of close harmony style textures, so you'll hear lots of the chords employed are very fruity with lots of added notes to otherwise ordinary triads, which creates a really beautiful atmosphere. And then to finish, we'll be singing a gospel melody called Anyhow, and this is a rather lovely crossover of gospel melody which has been set in quite a traditional four-part choral texture. So we hope you enjoy the final two numbers. Once again, thank you so much for coming. I think you'll agree we've had a real treat tonight. A shame, of course, that Will couldn't join us, but you'll hear him again next term, all being well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the final two numbers.
Ladies and gentlemen, a final word from me before the scholars sing their final piece. And it's a very interesting and hot topic at the moment, and that is that the price of a pint in this area is approximately £5. And I would encourage you, if you have enjoyed this evening's performance, the scholars have been bereft of drinks recently. They've been telling me recently how much they would love to have a pint at the end of all this. That's what happens when you work with me. So if you have enjoyed this evening's performance and feel that in your heart you have the generosity to buy one of our scholars a pint, a donation of £5 if you can, it would be most gratefully received. They've worked so hard on this programme. And I'd also just like to say a quick shout out to James, who put all this programme together and has accompanied everyone so brilliantly this evening. And that's the first and last time I pay him a compliment. Thank you very much and have a good evening. This is Anyhow.